What's up, guys? Steven here. It's been a minute since I did one of these. I don't know why. Just been one of those time periods where I'm just like, do something else. Kind of in the lull type of thing. Whatever. But, yeah, it's just, I don't know. So, it's been going pretty well here. We're, almost winding down in school, so that's pretty interesting. I'm actually surprised by the fact that I'm doing ridiculously fucking well. Like, I'm actually staying on top of my homework, my reading, all of that. And it's made me really happy. At the same time, it's also kind of made me really appreciate my education on a level that I've probably never had before. Or let's just put it that way. I've only begun to love education and my learning way more recently, and I guess in the last year and a half or two, primarily because I actually care now. And because I do, it keeps me engaged, right? It keeps me focused. And like, I'm actually paying attention to the shit I'm learning and synthesizing it in my life, meaning disseminating it, reading it, which for the purpose of clarity, understanding, we'll define it as taking in the information at hand while simultaneously factoring in guiding principles and heuristics, the North Star, in a way to essentially come up with the way to best make use of that information. So absorb the information, internalize it, digest it, and figure out how it implements in your life. So that's kind of how I define reading. And I've also noticed that what it really comes down to is it's almost like there's a rate per second at which your eyes shift. And if you actually take active control of that, you'll be able to actually take in more information. So this is why I believe that meditation is so powerful, because it forces you to slow down and has you actually, scan the room more slowly. All these things will jump out at you, right? So you'll notice the book, you'll notice the bed, you'll notice how some things are a particular color, right? You'll notice objects popping out at you, animals, things, because you've caused yourself to slow down, right? So, reading has an ability is incredibly important, and I think that's why reading books, is so powerful in that way. And I'm not saying you have to be reading books every single day, but if you can get yourself to grow up in a way that you train yourself to actually take in information in that way, meaning you take your time in the way you scan through energy, in the way you scan through data, you'll be able to make wiser decisions in key moments and key frames. When, for example, flow is going this way, but because of all the variables at hand and all the things that are happening, the right answer is actually going that way. So that's been pretty interesting. And then just almost done with the restoration process. I fucking did it. And I'm really fucking happy by how it's turning out. Some of the content, I still feel like the way I had it originally was maybe kind of better, because that was when those concepts were more fresh on my mind, so it had more of that punch to it. But I still feel like the way it came out this time is so much more simpler, and I guess a bit more easier to understand and easier to figure out how to apply it in a practical way. So I'm still gotta make Cultivating Your Life Force video, the Nature Reality, also like Spec Ops, and sadly, I'm unable to find the content for a lot of the cookings of the master, of the master. So like some of the recipes, and I'm just hoping to essentially find my mom cooking those stuff again, so I can get it on camera. So that's been really interesting, really cool to be able to execute on it, you know, because I was pretty down by when I just realized that everything was gone. And I'm just really happy and grateful and super appreciative to realize that I was able to bring most of it back, maybe even better than what it first looked like. So that's been interesting. And then we've been car shopping since my mom got in a car accident. And oh my fucking god, dude, fucking buying a car nowadays is ridiculous. It's insane. Like, holy shit. Like, when my friends would tell me that, like, they would get harassed, literally. Trying to leave the car lots, I did not know that it was a real thing. Like, literally, you're just like, bruh, I'm just here to get an idea of what I want. I'm trying to buy anything, just trying to see what make has what model that fits my needs. And literally, they're like trying to close you from the jump. So it kind of made me realize that, holy shit, I guess maybe thanks to the internet, the way you buy cars now is so different. Like, it's almost like those days where those old school parking lot where you literally used to enjoy the experience of going to buy a car, because you would get to like go into all these different cars and try out different ones are gone. And now what you have to literally do is go online, right? And then from there, you essentially figure out what you want, and then you let that help you even find the pricing. So based on your budget, right? So yeah, and it's fucking insane. It just opened my eyes to like the bullshit that is buying cars. How at the same time it's also kind of a tough business. But it's like I realized that my blueprint to essentially finding one had to first visit all the literal actual manufacturer. So go to the Honda itself, the Toyota, or the Nissan, or the Ford, not the fucking third party dealerships. And then from there, be able to see all the different types of car available. Then I'd get an idea of the cars that I like. And then from there, I do more research on like the actual specs that I want. So if I want a hybrid, particular gas mileage, etc., right? And then that would kind of like dictate which car is the best option. And then now, at that moment, that's when maybe you start looking at other options as opposed to like you start figuring out where you want to actually buy it. Like, who do you want to buy from, right? And it just kind of it really made me mad because you realize how fucking selling really is an art form. Like, it's a talent. Meaning, I mean, it's really all about people and understanding people. And understanding, again, as I mentioned, that you're just there to assist them. And it's crazy how that book, Spin Selling, really had it right. Like, the higher value the item is, the more empathy and actually relating to the person and slowing the fuck down instead of just like using sales techniques. Like, I literally got there on like all the fucking sales tactics in the world. It was insane. It was so insane how visceral my body just like reacted against them. Like, it was automatic. It was crazy. But it's like the dealerships that actually did it well, they literally just let me roam. And that was so fucking cool of him, you know? And I think that's pretty much what it comes down to. Like, if you're a salesman at a car dealership, all you have to do is just walk around, ask people if they need help. If they do, then help them. If not, just let them be. And then you'll find that, like, because you were that one salesperson that did not push them, that did not try to stick on them, literally like smelling fucking commission check in the air, but actually saw them as the human being that is trying to get something that they need, you know, like a vehicle, they will literally find you and come back to you because you were that guy that actually understood them, as opposed to all the other people that was just fucking hounding him, like literally hounding him. It was insane. And they really opened my eyes to like just how it works, how like essentially how to tell if a dealership is doing well or not. The essentially well, and I'll kind of tie into this idea of equalizer, which I'll mention in a bit. But it's like the ones that are won't really have they'll be doing well sales wise throughout the month, and then they won't have all this sudden stress at the end of the month. And those that aren't um, will literally be like trying to like rush sale, flash sales at the end of the month. And it just kind of like opened my eyes to like just how it works, like when you finance a car, like, and how that ties into like interest rates and quotas and the quotas you set, the goals, the sales goals and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. And I think for me, the most important part, it made me realize why some car companies are doing phenomenally well and some aren't, right? Like, I think my most important thing is I realized that like nowadays it's like they just don't make them as good as they used to. Like the phenomenally high ticket price you see is actually fucking bullshit overhead costs. Like I don't want to pay for this huge fucking bumper that doesn't even serve any purpose and that actually kind of makes the car slower or uglier, right? Or I don't want to pay for the fact that like you actually fucked up and or you weren't putting enough due attention or due diligence in making sure that like your cars are stable and like the center of mass is literally at that midpoint of the car. Especially when eons ago some fucking German engineer who actually liked you and he was your buddy came up and was like, bruh, you must make sure that it is equal. That way the car, the mass, and the tension forces are equally distributed. And you're like, fuck off, you're German, what the fuck you know? He's like, okay, you might gain money short term, but long term you'll be fucking up. And now today, he's right. And the sad part is, when you do that, you're literally, it's like you're disrespecting yourself and the quality of your work. Because now, as opposed to the foundation being so fucking solid, like, so, it's like, you have to realize when you build something good, it can be built upon. Meaning, you can just make it cooler and enhance it, right? Add new features. But when the fucking base is already fucked up, it's so tragic because now the next person has to, there's a higher chance that the next person that maybe takes ownership of that company or whatever that leads that business will have to, like, if he has eyes and he's like really trying, has like a higher purpose for it and really actually literally caring about the business, he'll actually like fucking have to like scrap everything and start again, right? And so now it's like I fully understand now why like companies like Tesla, for example, are so proprietary in their way, especially when they realize that like a lot of times like some companies literally fuck up other companies' product, literally taking their parts and trying to add it to their cars, etc. and then trying to essentially push the idea of the car with that missing part out so that people will buy, and like that car gets wrecked, right? Not realizing that it's kind of like this old adage, or a long time ago. The idea of a design was actually, it always tied into with this idea of structural integrity, or like one unit, meaning every single thing in that design, as I mentioned in one of my previous vlogs, like every single piece in that art literally has a purpose. It's useful. And when you take it out, it's not what it is anymore. It's not what it was meant to be, right? So they don't realize that they're taking away from an art form, and now literally because of that one piece, it won't work anymore. Furthermore, even if they try to add it to theirs, because their car, that is another art form, was not designed with that part in mind, it just won't work, right? And it's kind of cool because, like, my thesis, when I think about everything, it's like it's all about energy, and like you can clearly see how it manifests in different ways. And this was just like an interesting way of seeing it applied to this area, right? So like Tesla or companies like that, like smelling that eons away, decide, you know what? Even though it's gonna suck ass, even though we're gonna have to toil and sweat, we're just gonna do everything ourselves, right? And so now it ensures like the quality of the product, the quality of the work is always high. And so now, whenever everything becomes affordable, they become known as that company that makes really great shit. And it's just an automatic choice, as opposed to all the other electric car companies that maybe try to copy paste or like cut corners, etc. And the tragedy is like those companies, if they only knew what they had on their hands, they probably wouldn't be doing that. Like, I literally think sometimes about how, I like every day, like I see people, literally see people that like I just know if they did the right things would turn into like millionaires overnight. Like literally, and it blows my fucking mind every time I see it. Like literally, if they just did the right thing, if they loved themselves from a good place as opposed to like from a hateful place, or from a like a like from a place of like, oh, this is me, like in an egoic place, but just truly just appreciated who they were as a human being, and just try to like do good by other people. Literally, their change in their state of mind, the change of their behavior, the quality of their essence and ideas and actions will just change overnight, causing them to even make far more wealth than they ever even thought was possible. And it just like kind of breaks my heart, because on some level, it's like the whole, as I mentioned, the whole world kind of suffers from them not being at their best. You know, it's like, for example, I was thinking the other day, like the generation before us were the ones who invented the fucking equalizer. Like that shit that would just level everything. Like literally creating tech that makes it to where your baseline is at the harmonic resonance. And now they're not using their own tech. And furthermore, they get angry because other people are and succeeding, literally hating on them. And then, even on top of that, stupidly get angry because their shit doesn't work, because their mind is not in the right place. And because of that, their work, the quality of their work suffers. Like, I fully believe in this fucking flying car shit. Like, I so 100% believe it. Like, literally being as affordable as buying a regular car. And that's gonna take having, like, other world materials, right? Rare earth materials, middle earth materials, that type of fucking swag shit. Swag magical shit. But the only way for it to become accessible is if the overall cumulative collective state of mind is higher, is at a better place. Only then can the makers or the creators or the owners of those materials can actually trust us to actually do right by them and put it to good use. And only then will we be able to create awesome shit like flying cars and stuff like that. Because for flying cars to come about, it has to be like come over like literally a 360 way of living life itself. Because you can't only think about the production, but then you also have to think about the operation, how people drive, the way people operate, like the aerial lanes that are gonna have to be created, right? While simultaneously also making sure that people who even want to still just use planes or stuff like that can still do that if they want. Like there's so many things to think about, and for that to occur, like the level of like bullshit that is currently at this point existing has to just drop beyond ways that people can't even begin, beyond a level that everyone knows should be, or everyone knows it should be at, right? Like even things like fucking oil, like we have to like stop considering it as gold, realize that, well, yeah, at the end it's probably like fucking spirits, or it's probably beings that like it's like if you can if you know how to create oil with your mind, or gold with your mind, or any mineral with your mind, then you know that you can literally do anything, right? And so now from that point, it's more like, what can we do, right? What should we do with our world, right? And that's what I'm talking about, like doing things that we know would literally revolutionize life and even the way we think about reality, right? Like flying cars, portals, things like that. And for that to occur, state of mind just has to elevate. Higher consciousness has to become a priority, right? And so when that happens, we literally become one again, like it was back then, where all the continents were united. And so now it was like a celebration of humanity in the different art forms. Like you knew that fucking Joel had fucking a sick ass way of making this, and he did it like that because he had this only this kind of material available in his environment, but he created this. But then fucking another guy, Bob, knew how to do another way because he had different types of material, and he created that. And oh, by the way, if you put them together in this way, it actually creates something completely different. And so now it's just like the beauty, like it's literally like it's like what's possible, not just this like this is mine, this is my bullshit, literally angering even the spirits of those resources, right? Like sometimes maybe like you might be digging for a one, it's like, oh, it's there and now it's not there. You know, like all this shit, like, and it's like you just realize that you just almost have to like realize that it's not even, I don't want to say, I don't want to get religious because I'm all about fucking money too, right? Like you also have to make a living, you have to like do business, right? But it's like the original idea of entrepreneurship, of business, was actually raising the quality of life better. Like the first businessmen were the farmers, right? Because they just realized, oh, I need something, but then he also needs something, so let's find a way to help each other out. That's how it worked, and then it just evolved. So it was always about building relationships, about coming together, not about like outdoing one another, right? And the moment that came about, it literally kind of poisoned the business realm or the entrepreneurship realm. And so now it mutated into something it was never meant to be, right? But the moment we go back, we make that mind shift to like, what's fucking possible, bro? Like we make amends with one another. Like, yeah, dude, I'm sorry I did you wrong, right? And then like we actually literally listen to one another. Like I was hurt. I was even going through a shitty time in my life. Like legitly listen to one another and see the human in the other person, fuck, like the fucking world, like I'm literally getting chills. The fucking world will be able to create, right? Like the fucking type of cars we'll be able to make. And it's just, it's all about that, like that love of what you're doing, and that love, more importantly, of like being with the other, not for a gain, but for the sake of what is possible, for the sake of that humanity, for the sharing of that spirit, right? Like it's just kind of tragic to see how, because that's not the case right nowadays today, because that energy is so heavy, right? Like that equalizer maybe is not even used. Things are just so unnecessarily hard. Products are not as good as they should be. And then worse, people try to pass it off as a good thing and end up fucking themselves up even more, right? Like, think about this. The reason why, if you make a good car, funny, something people don't realize, you will no longer have to factor in depreciation, because now the value won't get cheapened, because people will actually make payments. They will love your product so much that they don't want to do anything to like ruin that, to ruin what you have going between y'all two. And people will actually want to pay for something because they can feel and know it's good. Why? Because they feel and know that you have their best in mind. You have their wellness. Like, if you're not even driving your own cars because you're afraid that it might blow up on you, why would you try to sell it to other people? You know, shit like that just doesn't make sense. Plus, on top of that, the moment when you try to sell it, it'll come out because you won't even know your car. Like, you won't know your car. So, it's like all these small things that really fucking matter. And if people just did the right thing, they would never have those issues. And I feel like, I hate sounding so gay, like, just do it right, but it really is as fucking simple as that. And it's just, yeah, like, companies that started out so fucking strongly, like Ford or GMC even, like literally revolutionizing the lifestyle. Like the first car. Can you imagine that? And then it just evolved into like, oh, they just but like in that process, forgetting to respect the art form that is creating what is, right? And thus because of that, everything suffers now. And now you're just spending unnecessary time and energy and resources, damage control, or just trying to like pass off shit that you know somewhere in your heart shouldn't be the way it is, right? And I always think, and it kind of ties into what I was gonna say next. It's like, if every employee at a place, from the CEO to the fucking even janitor, could love the place they're at, and more importantly, have this game-changing mind shift in mind. What if, how would I act if this was my house? How would I act if this was my business? And have that love and care for wherever they are working. My God, the fucking game changer you would create. Because literally every single one person on your team is a potential game changer. Even that fucking janitor. Like, treat him with as much love and respect as your fucking top CFO, CEO. Because even he will tell you shit that can fucking save you millions of dollars. Even he'll literally be like, bro, I know, because you guys actually have a relationship. It's not gonna be hard for him to be like, bro, I know you're considering a partnership with this person, so and so, but based on the way I've seen them use your space, I've seen them navigate within your space, I don't think they'll really respect you in the way that you think they will. and they'll actually fucking play you and cause all this unnecessary bullshit. Like, even they will give you insight that you'll be like, holy fucking hell, what? And that is the swag principle, or the principle of fucking, like, swag use, or swag efficiency. Like, optimizing, making use of every part of your team, from the lowest to the highest. And it's like, at that level, you can only fucking fly. Like, literally, when everyone wants to help you, when everyone on your team is moving the whole fucking team forward, like, what can stop you at that point, right? When everyone is aligned on that higher purpose, that higher vision, that higher conscious lifestyle, like, what? It's like, there's no way, right? And it just opens up so many lanes, because even that janitor has skills and abilities and talents that you probably would have never known there. He might even had not even fucking written everything in his life on his resume, right? There's plenty of people like that. They've done like ill shit that you would never know about. This dude was like special ops or whatever. Like, I don't even know. Like, you would never know. But because you were nice, because you actually cared, because you're actually a fucking good dude, they just help you out in a way that's just like, oh my god. And that's another thing. It's like, people just forget where they came from. Like, it's like, as soon as they make a little money, a little success, it's like they just fucking throw the ladder away and just say, fuck everyone else, I'm the shit, I got here on my own, no one fucking helped me. When it's like, you do realize that the thing that created your career was because of that one dude who was quiet, but he just liked you because you were more chill than everyone else, and he told you a literal game-changing tip that, like, you made your money on, and it changed your life forever. You do realize that is in fact true, right? Like, you can bullshit everyone else, but he fucking knows. And more so, probably everyone around him knows, right? That entire fucking world, that fucking world ecosystem knows. So don't fucking think you're the shit, because you really ain't. And I'm just like, why do people do that? Like, it's like, why do people just forget that at one point they suck shit too? That at one point they had nothing. It always blew my mind. Like, I just never understood that. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where you're just like, man, doesn't that person realize, maybe even on some level, the person that told him that was kind of hoping that they'd be that one guy that's like always keeping it swaggy as fuck, no matter how fucking successful they are, and then like that's just always chill no matter what. And like that person that like has to say the fucking hood can always fucks with, like, the streets always fucks with you. Like, don't they realize that? Like, but I don't know. It's really sad, and it's almost like it's literally heartbreaking to think about just how people can just fucking, as they say, change on you once they get fucking fame. And it's also sad to think about how all those people who have talent, have vision, have purpose, literally sacrifice their life. Kind of Robina Cornyn mentioned a long time ago. She talked about this idea of being not a Buddha, but she said essentially once they've realized the highest state of mind, like Buddhahood, they actually have the choice to it's essentially like holding the gates open for others, right? So they go back down to like a lower level, and they literally stay there, literally only for the sake of others. So they literally sacrifice themselves just so they can be that one person in that environment, in that realm, at that frequency that can like help people move up. And it's just heartbreaking to see, because maybe if those people even realized that if they went up to a higher conscious level, they could actually do way more for that entire area, right? And it just, I just always kind of like feel like a tinge, like a tear, thinking about that, because it's just so huge, like so much fucking love and sacrifice that goes almost unnoticed, like the unsung heroes. And I just want to say thank you to all of them. Like, eternally grateful and appreciative for all they do. Because you really never know. It's like, she says it's like, there's like trillions and trillions of life forms and sentient beings just working in the background just so you can be you. Just so you can win sometimes. Just so you can do what you do. And you would never know. And it's really cool. And I just also want them to win too. That's it. But yeah, it's just been interesting times. Or things, just realizing how, like, just that same fucking, all that, it's all about that fucking love and care, and first loving yourself from a right place, and then having good intentions, having pure intent, pure intentions, and having the wellness and wanting the best for others, literally wanting others to succeed to the point where they don't even need you anymore. Literally like that. Like, I was telling my mom about like beauty care products, and how like it's like, fuck, like she took me and like I helped her out, and I was like, holy shit, the fucking shit that girls put on their bodies. Like, now I understand why I don't get turned on by like a lot of them, cause the fucking shit they put on them. Like, it's like, okay, what you do? Open the bottle and smell it. If the smell already is displeasing to your fucking nostrils, what makes you think it's gonna be pleasing to your body? Like, think about, it's like your body is eating through these pores, like these small tiny holes. It's breathing, and it's like absorbing energy. And if your nose, which is already an incredible sense bullshit detector, is already saying fuck that shit, what makes you think your entire body is gonna appreciate that? It's not. So it was like this entire fucking reteaching my mom of like the right beauty care and products to put on. And it's like the ones that had this sweet scent to them. It literally smelled incredible, were the pure products, meaning it's like you're looking for the people that dilute and the ones that don't. And if they dilute, just say fuck him. And if they don't, and like, that's how you tell what to put on your body and what not. If your nose doesn't even want it, like, why would you put it on? It's like fucking, if alcohol doesn't make your skin better, it actually burns it away, and it literally dehydrates it and makes it look like it's burnt. So you're putting something on thinking it's gonna lighten your tone and revitalize your pores and health, when in reality it's doing the opposite. And it's like, in this, I can almost kind of, it sounds so weird. It's so crazy that I think of like this. So I kind of see karma, because I'm like, well, maybe the owner of that person, the creator of that product, put it there to get back at someone who fucking wronged them in the past by selling them bullshit. And so they're slowly poisoning their skin because that person slowly poisoned them. I'm like, oh my god. And other people just wrongly get caught in the crosshairs. Oh my god. That's literally how I think. And it's how I think the same. And it's like, my god, dude, even beauty care is like an art form. Like, aromas, like the old fucking sciences of that, like the natural sciences of the herbs, the different scents, along with the properties, healing properties, enhancing properties that come with it. It's just beautiful. And it's like, that fucking art form gets tainted because of people's bullshit. Like, instead of creating something epic now, we just fight. And we use that vehicle, the beauty care, the car, the fucking battle raps to settle scores. Like literally now, it's like I can't even appreciate battle raps like they used to be, where it was literally an art form. It was like what you're wearing, like the way you rap, like fucking shit you said a minute ago. To now, it's like niggas are just literally fucking. It's like you can literally tell they have beef with each other, and they came today to settle that beef. And so now the entire ecosystem is fucking dragged down because of their bullshit. And it can't grow. Like not like something that literally could have hit mainstream and easily actually become a form of living, a source of income, a form of living, gets fucking cut away and lost because of the bullshit of the few, right? And the worst part is most of the time, those few are like the loudest. So fucking, it's like everyone has to deal with it. It's just, and it's crazy. It's just crazy what happens when an ecosystem isn't curated. And when, instead of just coming together, celebrating one another's art form, one another's variation, skill, just like literally, oh, dude, that was fucking illy, bro. Start doing that, or just like, nah, 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 nah. I'm out, do you? I'm fucking better. It's like that one kid in high school, maybe he got beat up once or bullied, and like he just never healed from it, and he just became an angry and bitter fucking grown boy in an old man's body, just walking around angry and bitter at the world, instead of even maybe realizing on some level that that was his parents who were in a misguided way trying to toughen him up for the world, trying to keep him, trying to hope, or hoping that even amidst that storm, that fighting, that violence, he could pull upon those teachings that they literally taught him that day, that moment, 5 minutes before that happened, 10 minutes, a day before, that week, those inner teachings of stay present, stay positive, make light of things, try to see the good in them, right? Literally trying to teach them those golden principles, trying to teach him those golden principles, and then also like wanting him to implement it by putting him in a situation where he'd have to, right? And he just completely missed the point. And so now it kind of like shaped him or just changed him forever. And he's just like a wounded bird. It's insane. We're a lot of wounded birds, and I think that's probably another thing that helps me stay a bit more patient. Just realizing that we're all wounded birds on some level, and some of us just, there's a lot of pain, especially in the past generation, just the shit that they had to go through. And more than anything else, I think maybe that's one thing that I'm thinking at least our generation sees is just the importance of love, the importance of equalizing, the importance of being present, of staying chill, of staying grounded, no matter how high you get in the clouds, you know, of keeping your feet to the ground, of fucking doing shit like hiking or riding your bike to the fucking gym or work or whatever, no matter how blessed you are. You know, just those tried and true, like old school, just soul sculpting, toughening things, and just realizing that those are the things that help you make peace, make light, keep things light in situations where bullshit occurs, and realizing that really violence isn't an answer, that like as lame as it sounds, fucking love is the key. Love, love, make love, not war. Bang girls, don't dang Bros. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, it's all about the fucking vehicle and how you use the vehicle. Are you using that vehicle to essentially game change that ecosystem and make it fucking elevate to a higher consciousness and make it lighter, thus raising the quality, raising the value of that ecosystem, raising the fucking work, creating fruitful work, fruitful ideas, all this shit. You know, are you doing that with that vehicle? And it could be anything. Could be sales. Could be car industry. Could be the tech industry. Could be even the fucking farm. Could be the horse raising industry. It could be anything. But at the end, it doesn't matter. It's all about you and your infusion of your soul, of your love, and using that vehicle to essentially help people or show the way to other people, or help people show people the way to do right, to do things the right way in that ecosystem, in that industry, in that vehicle, by you doing right. And when they see that, they can only replicate. And at that point, everyone fucking wins. Literally, everyone wins. But it's like, just respect the vehicle, and it'll teach you things that you probably never knew or even fucking possible. Like, not too long ago, it was like, what? Dogs only walked, and now it's not uncommon for us to fucking see your dog getting on his 2 fucking feet and giving you hugs. Things like that, bro. Small fucking signs. Huge changes. Swag movement. Swag world. One world. Anyways, one love, guys. Namaste. Hope you guys got something out of this. And as always, swag fuck out.
Super Mario. T.